Once Putin is elected, Russia is going to look remarkably similar to before he was elected. Why? Because Putin, in a sense, never left. Putin was running the economy, he was running the government on a day-to-day basis, and while he had ceded the presidency and therefore foreign policy to Medvedev, it was really a kind of charade. He was really behind most of the most important decisions anyway. If Putin wins this election, which he's almost certainly going to do, and if he wins the next election, which he is allowed to run for, he will have been in charge of Russia for over 20 years, maybe 25 years. This is longer than Stalin. One wonders whether Russia is really willing to have one man, even if a somewhat competent man, and even if someone whom they regard as having restored Russia, rule for that long. I have a feeling that while the protests that we saw over the last few months were small, they represent some degree of public dissatisfaction with this idea of a kind of lifetime czar. The Russian economy is essentially oil, natural gas, diamonds, nickel. It's all natural resources. It's really a Siberian Saudi Arabia. And in order for Russia to develop economically, politically, it has to be able to diversify its economy. So far, there are very few signs of this. And you'd have to say one of the reasons might be that it isn't to the advantage of the regime to diversify. The more you diversify, the more prospect there is for losing political control. As long as you have what is essentially an oil economy, oil, natural gas, natural resources, all that can be very neatly controlled by the regime. Well, now he's back in charge, he's back on top, and so there might actually be a small benefit that comes from it. That is, he'll now want to be the deal maker, whether it's with Obama or whether with the Europeans. You know, the odd thing about Vladimir Putin is he's a very, very shrewd analyst. I've met him a few times, and I'm always struck by his very strong analytic skills. A very good debater, for example, whenever he's trying to present a position. And he's written these newspaper articles for various Russian newspapers that analyze Russia's situation, including all its problems, political, economic, lack of democracy, for example, and he does it all very intelligently. He doesn't seem to understand that he is the source of many of those problems. He is the architect of the system that he is creating. And that's where you wonder if there's some kind of strange self-delusion, where he doesn't understand that he is at the heart of the reasons that Russia can't progress in the way he's describing. Perhaps there'll be some kind of revelation where he begins to understand that and loosens up and opens up the system. I very much doubt it. I think more likely it will take some kind of sharp shock from the outside to bring that realization.